Another Monday crypto dump where we're seeing the entire market down on the day, and we have Bitcoin losing the key psychological $100,000 level. So in today's show, we'll discuss, does this change everything? Has structure been broken once again? Are we going down only, or is there going to still be an opportunity for a high-low? Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We'll get straight into the show content over here today. Of course, the daily's not looking too good, right? You have things like USDT, which are up, of course, 6% on the day. Why? Of course, people are profit taking straight into Tether. So a lot of the coins are down. There's always going to be speculation around why. Couple of reasons could be a little bit of a risk-off scenario leading into the FOMC, which is going to be coming up later on this week. That's point number one. Point number two, also Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social. Let's just actually go through to the post over here. I'll go through into the Whale Room Discord. There might actually be a trade opportunity around that under DJ calls for those of you in Whale Room. Apologies to the Whale Room members to dox your free alpha over here. But this is what Donald Trump posted over here. Pretty much, tensions rising between him and Colombia, threatening to raise tariffs massively. And then he posted himself as El Chapo, right? FAFO, right? So that's the ticker, FAFO. There's the ticker over there. Currently, when I posted it, was trading at about 48 million. So you can see now trading at about 54 million, kind of endorsing a meme coin over there. We'll see what happens. This is a very risky trade. But going quickly into crypto and Bitcoin over here, you do have a lot of liquidations coming in. This is now pushing towards that $1 billion mark, which is always pretty key and pivotal within the market in terms of finding a major high or major low, depending on if it's longs or shorts that are liquidated. We have the majority, of course, coming in just in the last couple of hours. It is 653 million that are liquidated on the long side versus 46 million on the short side. So a massive dump over there. We have a rejection over here from the key $100 billion mark on the daily exchange volume. Let's just see, has this updated? We're still waiting for the update. The last update was done on the 26th. So we'll see what the update looks like later on today. And if this does continue to trend towards the downside, it is a little bit of a warning sign then, because it's kind of the wind coming out of the sails. And if we look at some of the bearish divergences that have taken place. Remember, bearish divergences don't always need to be using RSIs or stochastic RSIs or indicators that you use on TradingView, but you can use the divergences in the terms of sentiment as well, right? So when you're in the face of what should be plenty of bullish news and the market's not reacting in a bullish fashion, that's a form of a bearish divergence, right? Prices are putting in higher and higher lows. And then you have a negative RSI, that's your bearish divergence, or you have price putting in lower highs and lower lows, but you have more and more bullish, so higher highs and higher lows in terms of market sentiment. That's also a form of a hidden bearish divergence, right? So consequently, prices would come down, especially if the wind comes out of the sails of that daily exchange volume. But right here, as you sit before me today on the live show, we're coming directly into the exact critical key point, right? So we're fortunate enough, oftentimes the action only happens around the US market open, but today we're fortunate enough to witness the action right here before us as we live. Very rare that I get that opportunity to share this with you guys. But if we have a look over here, we have our trading range. I'm just going to very, very quickly outline it, right? We have simply the range low. We have more or less the mid-range, which is where price is currently coming in. And then you have the range high. Pretty simple, right? You have your high volume area over here. We printed the higher high as I've showcased over there. So remember, lower highs and lower lows, and we printed our first high high. The question is this going to be a high low? So it is a significant point, the place that price is at right now as we currently speak. I'll show you on the low time frames kind of trigger plan that I'm looking at. Again, fortunate to share this with you live. Downsloping trend line, sometimes you get this bump and run scenario. That could be one area of support that you're looking at. You're coming into the high volume area, you'd expect that's where the high low would form. So that is significant as well. Plus, it also lines up with the mid-range. So just going on to this chart over here, you can see it a little bit clearer. That is our mid-range at $99,244. Price right now is hitting that level, and we'll see if you start to form a wick around that area. Now, the negative over here, just fast forwarding a little bit, we'll talk about the short term in just a moment, but fast forwarding over the medium time frame, the negative would be that in just a couple of days time, we are going to be printing that next bear moon, right? We've seen how the bull and bear moons work, right? So bull moons print underneath price action, price moves up. bare moons print above price action, and then usually you have a little bit of a drawdown. If this does take place, well, and we end up bouncing, setting in a lower high over here, then expect that again, this chop is just going to continue. You're going to continue to respect this trading range, and later on, you will eventually break out. A reminder over here, the high time frame bull market support levels, which is going to be your 200 MA and your 200 EMA on the daily time frame, are currently rising towards the upside, and eventually it's going to meet up over here with this level. We also have a question mark for the wick fill over there on the daily time frame. So in a worst case scenario, again, this is focusing more on the medium time frame, so over the next couple of weeks to months. If you do actually set in that lower high, so we'll quickly draw it out over here, if you do actually set in this lower high and you continue to chop and slowly come down, maybe you fill this wick over here, you come into this region back down to $91,000. That's kind of a worst case scenario, right? But in the short term, because remember, we look at the trading over the short term, the medium term, and the high time frame. That is the medium time frame analysis. The short-term analysis would be that lining up with those key pivotal points, the downsloping trend line, the mid-range, the high volume profile. We can look onto the 4-hour time frame over here. Let's just quickly zoom in over there. You are currently losing those MAs, as you can see. That is caught at mid-range. If you can reclaim back above the 200 EMA, which is the blue one over there, that would be significant. And then with your daily, you do have your daily 50 EMA currently coming in as well at $98,000. So there is some confidence, right? There's definitely some confidence that should suggest at the very, very least that you get a little bit of a bounce over there. And similar to the inefficiency that you have from this wick at the bottom over here, where we said target towards the mid-range, you have something similar over here on the candle that occurred on January the 16th, right? So if you do come back into that mid-range level, which we're just about reaching, that should elicit a short-term bounce, right? A small bounce over there. So just mapping it out, this is what it would look like. This is essentially the trading plan on a 4-hour time frame. I have shared this with Whale Room. This is one of the benefits. It's just lucky that today this is happening right now live as we hear on the show. But this is the type of information that I would typically drop under the Captain Take section of Whale Room, where I basically outline the plan over here. If you look at the plan over there, we have outlined with an explanation underneath. This is what you essentially want to see. This is a SR flip region, a clear level of prior resistance, now potential support. If you just look to these previous candles, right, you had resistance over there, basically dropped below there. That was resistance, so deviating that level. Resistance again over here, couldn't hold that level. Resistance came down. And then for the first time, we held some major support at this region and got price up, right? So you may be coming back for that inefficiency. So that is your wick fill, right? You're looking for the liquidity sweep. Why this area? So just lining it up over here. We've now officially got the liquidity sweep. But remember, it's not just about sweeping the liquidity and then immediately going long, but more studying the reaction that occurs around that area. Why this area as a liquidity sweep? Well, you can see wick 1, wick 2, that is kind of your double bottom scenario, right? Double bottom that led to a pretty explosive move towards the upside. A lot of traders would have put their stop losses underneath. Now you're taking those stops out. Why? Well, that's why we're seeing massive liquidations occur, because that's where the majority of the traders' stop losses are placed. So following that, I've said that maybe you come a little bit lower, fill some of this wick over here, watch for 98,244. You could put a sneaky limit order buy over there just in case with a hard stop underneath this wick. That's if you want to be aggressive on the trade. If you want to be more conservative, safe, careful on the trade, what you'd be waiting for over here is you'll be monitoring this right now as it currently unfolds on the lower time frames, like the hourly, or you could even go down onto the 15-minute time frame. You're looking for a bit of a snapback out of this area, right? So let's just quickly pull these our little drawings across. Where did our little drawings go? Let's find them over here. Let's go find that there. There it is. Okay. So if you look at this, we'll just move it up in alignment with that nicely. Let's go back onto the 15-minute and it's gone. Okay, it's fine. We'll redraw it in here. I'll use the pencil. What you're looking for is this, right? So watch as price comes down on the low time frame, like the 15-minute, as it consolidates, hits that wick over there. If you get a sharp reaction, reclaim back above the area, the white line over here. I've said that's the liquidity sweep, right? At that point, what do you have? A deviation, right? You have a deviation back into the trading range, moving back onto the daily to showcase what this would look like. At that point, or onto the 4-hour, let's go onto the 4-hour, moving back onto the 4-hour, at that point, you have potentially successfully flip this area into support, right? We've only had one zone that held, right? It was this zone over here. That led to price moving back up. You've come back to test that. If you do sweep the liquidity and you basically reclaim back above $100,000, that will bring interest back into the market. People think that things are quite safe, and ultimately then you look for the long trade back up. But I want to be very, very clear. There is a lot of work that needs to be done from the bulls, right? Just zooming into these areas over here on the 4 hour, you need to watch the breakdown level, right? The breakdown levels are always very, very, very significant zones to get about. And at the end of the day, this has almost already been a completed breakdown. Why? Well, if you focus on what we were presenting over here, I was showing the same thing on Solana over the course of the weekend on the Saturday stream. You're looking at a symmetrical triangle, right? Now, the symmetrical triangles can break either up or down, right? So if you did break towards the upside, you would have been looking for something like that. Instead, this has started to break towards the downside. So you've come into that key support. So looking for signs of strength, you need to see bulls get back above the breakdown level, which would only be above $105,000, right? So what is the highest probability play here? The highest probability play is that you probably do get this level holding. You probably do get a bounce, but in reality, I think that bounce is probably going to lead into a lower high, rejecting from this level, leading into, of course, the next, as we've spoken about, into the next bear moon, right? And then it's going to continue to chop within this trading range. That is the realistic outcome of what you're expecting. And sometimes the max pain scenario is price moving sideways, which actually brings me to the next point. It reminds me, over the course of the Saturday stream, I did speak about that max pain scenario. I believe the max pain level for the end of the month was somewhere around that $97,000 to $98,000 level, right? Max pain meaning the majority of options traders' options expire absolutely worthless. We can look over here at the funding rate as well, which is funding is coming down. I'm surprised it hasn't got negative yet, especially when you look at this and you see that the long to short ratio has 53.24% of traders currently running short versus 46.76 running long. So we'll wait for this to update over here. Negative funding, if you do see this go negative, if you're somebody that's on Coinalyze, right? Coinalyze.net/funding. Funding rate over there. This is free, by the way, for anyone to use. If you go into the hourly time frame, and while you simultaneously watch price coming into these key support levels, you start to print negative funding. So it needs to show red underneath here. That's a very strong sign, right? Very strong sign that it's a potential buy signal. So again, short-term buys versus the medium time frame outlook, which is probably going to bounce into a lower high and then continue to chop and range. What about the high time frame? Nothing changes on the high time frame. Let's quickly find this chart for you over here. Let's go into the high time frame just over here to showcase to you what it looks like. So just looking at specifically the 2017 cycle, nothing has changed, right? We're still following literally almost to a T exactly what we saw back in 2017. That is the purple line. Of course, you can deviate a little bit. You can chop about. You can come down. Sometimes it overextends a little bit above this line, like we saw back over here on day 488. And sometimes it goes below the line, like we saw on day 338. So you might be deviating ever so slightly. But for the most part, this cycle has been very, very similar to what we saw specifically 2016, 2017. So again, just in summary, short term, you're looking for a bounce. Medium time frame, you're looking for a lower high, continued chop within the trading range. High time frame, you're expecting price to slowly float onwards and upwards over time. And it's all going to line up with the USDT dominance coming directly into the resistance zone over here at about 4.33%, which lines up with when we have the next high impact data coming out on the 29th of January. We're on the 27th of January, which means about 48 hours from now, we'll see what the Fed do. Maybe the Fed will save the day. Maybe the Fed will say that we're going into loose monetary policy and not keeping things so tight anymore, while simultaneously you see some sort of a deviation over here, right? You might deviate. So pay attention. It's all coming down to a final T, right? As you come into this region. Now, I don't want to sugarcoat it. If you do break above and consolidate above this resistance level, this could look like a major high time frame deviation. When this chart USDT dominance goes up, it means the market is moving risk off. As you can see, just these two little candles like that have absolutely rinsed the market. So bulls want to see price hold underneath the support level and break down. Bears, of course, will be looking for price to continue up, but you can see you fast and ferociously approaching the top side of the trading range. And similar to Bitcoin's trading range, where we've been capped between a high and a low, you're seeing the same thing over here on the USDT dominance. Very, very, very close. You may even hit that level today, right? DXY as well. We spoke about this leading into today's open. You have essentially, you've broken the market towards the downside over here. So you've had your upsloping trend now, your momentum line, you've broken that. You also broke structure by losing this yellow line. This was your prior high lows. As soon as you started to close candles underneath that, that is your break of structure. What this means is, again, a little bit of hopium for you. You'll be hoping for a little bit of a bounce over here alongside the USDT dominance, and then a rejection. If you get that rejection and that lower high, that ultimately could change things for crypto back towards the upside. But if this continues to rally onwards and upwards over here and breaks back into the trading range, and this is just a deviation from the downside back into the trading range, well, that's going to be bad for crypto, right? So keeping a close eye out on what's specifically happening on the USDT dominance, the DXY chart as well, and then the Bitcoin dominance, which is currently moving towards the upside. And Bitcoin dominance is currently filling this inefficiency that occurred all the way back on the 20th of December, right? So there's a lot of key levels that we're currently hitting, right? You're coming into the downsloping trend line, into the high volume area, into the mid range, into the 50-day moving average. There's a lot of things going on here right now. Essentially, the best advice would probably be, and I must add, the best non-financial advice. Remember, this is not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, but the best thing would be to probably wait for a reclaim of $100,000. If Bitcoin gets back above $100,000, then you're in a safer zone, right? A safer area to get an entry into the market and look for potential continuation. Okay, the key thing is you want to manage your risk. I did cover this as well on the Saturday show, just in case some of you haven't seen this. Remember, please jump into Whale School. We're currently taking signups right now. I discuss risk management at length. Risk management is the most important thing to survive and thrive in trading. You literally cannot make it in trading, no matter how good you are as a trader. The only way you could make it in trading without risk management is if you had 100% hit rate, meaning you've never been wrong and never will be wrong. And we know that's absolutely impossible. In your best case scenario, the top traders in the world are trading with anywhere around a 60% hit rate, meaning they're right 60% of the time and wrong 40% of the time. And the way that you protect yourself from losing everything is by utilizing and employing risk management strategies for those 40% of the times that you're wrong. And I cover that at length over here. This is just a humble and a sobering reminder to those of you that have forgotten. If you lose 50% of a trade or position, meaning maybe you leverage long right now and you're 50% down, it's required that you make 100% profit just to get back to break even. Some of you may have thought, well, you lost 50%, you only need a 50% profit. That is incorrect. Remember, 50% down means you've lost half the position, which means you need to double the position just to get back to where you were previously. And as you go down this list over here, it becomes more and more exponential, right? Exponential losses require exponential gains to get back to break even. And I call this the drawdown death trap, right? The drawdown death trap, once you start to cross a certain point, your psychology will have immense trouble stomaching that they need to close the position at a loss. Now, the easiest way to avoid this is to cap your losses around 20%. Why 20%? Because in crypto, it's very realistic that you can easily make back 25% because of the volatility that crypto provides. If you were trading traditional markets, I would say you want to keep your losses around 3%, because 5% is 5.3% gain, 20% is 25% gain. But even in crypto, once you start getting into the 60, 70, 80, it becomes very difficult to win back your profits, right? So we can have a look at some of the altcoins. 𝗬𝗎 has been smashed. It's come down now. It's essentially broken that parabola that was following. I don't know how many of you remember, I was speaking pretty aggressively about this all the way back here when we started to put in that lower high structure early January, first week of January. And I said, look, well, this is a promising candle over here on the 13th of January, but if it leads into yet another lower high, there's a good chance that you're coming down to target number one and then eventually target number 2. As you can see, we've now hit target number 1, right? The unfortunate thing is you've also created a new swing low. By trading underneath these candles from the end of December over here on a closing basis, you've now created a new swing low. Also, there was the potential for a little bit of a deviation, right? A move into there, sweep that level, reclaim. But the fact that you look at yesterday's candle close, which closed as a full-bodied red candle underneath that level, plus opened a new candle underneath that level, now drastically will increase the possibility that it's going to come down to target number 2, which is going to be $2.90, right? So we know a lot of communities in the world bought the top for SUI. There was a lot of hype around it. We had some big names out there in the space rotating from, other large positions like Solana, for example, Bitcoin, into SUI, saying that, this is going to be the coin that's going to outperform. And I think that was a big warning sign, especially when you put in those lower highs. That's on SUI. So what do you expect for SUI? You probably will get some sort of a big snapback, right? Above the top of the trading range. Again, if that leads into the lower high, then expect that target 2 is going to be hit, which means, again, sweeping under $3, right? So that is SUI for you over there. We can have a look at some of the other coins. Let's quickly go to Solana. Here's your Solana chart. I think I would rather want to go on, let me just find this one over here. I think I have everything much better mapped out on this particular chart. So Solana, there it is. Okay, so here's Solana. Remember, Solana was in the bullish wedge over here. I'm going to clean that up. When patterns fail, they fail really, really badly. Again, I do cover all of that in Whale School. What does this mean? Well, it means coming into your next major support. This is your major support. Solana is pretty much just about to hit that support. That's coming in at another 3% down. So just under that 220, right? So watch for support to be found under 220. Most of the coins have played out a lot of the downside already given this move. Let's actually quickly measure something out over here as well. Unfortunately, you have lost your 50% level. So you will be looking to reclaim as well above this breakdown candle over here at 240 to start to reclaim the 50% level and show some sort of strength, right? So yeah, bit of a bloodbath, right? A bit of a bloodbath that's currently happening on the markets. What other coins should we have a look at? Let me know in the comments. I will pull them up. I am keeping an eye out on the comments over here. Let's see. Okay, Casper, we can look at Casper approaching the yearly open. This one actually could present an opportunity. Keep an eye out on Casper as it comes down. I mean, don't panic and stuff. If you look at this wick over here, also a little bit of an inefficiency that hasn't been filled. So wouldn't be surprised to see something like this. Remember, time it with everything I've showcased on Bitcoin, right? So if you see something like this, a little bit of a move down into 11 cents, right? Reclaim the yearly open and Bitcoin simultaneously gets back above $100,000, that could start to look good. Then it becomes a little bit of an opportunity over there. Injective, right? Injective also getting hammered, but at the end of the day, it's coming directly into support. So this is a major support zone. Use it alongside Bitcoin. If Bitcoin reclaims $100,000 and Injective reclaims the yearly open, which is currently coming in at 19.7, 19.5, then that's a good sign, right? Then you have a potential trigger for a long trade. Then you enter the long over here and your stop loss goes underneath the local lows. Okay, Phantom or Sonic currently getting hammered, absolutely getting hammered. Look, next, unfortunately, it's taken out that consolidation on the left-hand side. Next meaningful support would be probably around this trend line over here. It just depends, guys. If Bitcoin reclaims $100,000, yes, this is probably going to put in a bit of a snapback. But again, I'd wait for structure to change on Phantom or Sonic. This one's major support's at about 33. It'll probably find some interim support for a short-term bounce at about 40 cents, right? That is Phantom. We had a question on Rune. We know that Rune had a lot of problems being at least considered to be insolvent last week. How's this one looking? Short-term bounce, immediate rejection. It's not looking good, right? We have to look towards some of these lower levels. Let's just mark it out for you guys now. Unfortunately, the only thing you can do when price is in free fall is you can look left for where the next major support is, right? So while this is in free fall, next major support, I would be eyeing out somewhere around this region over here, about 170, right? Okay, so for Rune, somewhere around 170, there is a little bit of a fair value gap over there, small one. So I'm not really going to consider it. I would go with this. I mean, you almost hit that 170 anyway. That means 25% down is a possibility. Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗓. Let's have a look at 𝗬𝗓𝗓. I see the question around 𝗬𝗓𝗓. Okay, there we have it. So 𝗬𝗓𝗓 below the yearly open, currently also in free fall. Let's just see, double check some of these levels over here. A little bit of an SR flip possibly into this zone over here. You might sweep the liquidity at about $9.80, right? So next major support is coming into that zone over there. That is about 21% towards the downside. All right, render. Yes, let's have a look at render. How's render doing? Okay, so I know not the news that most of you probably wanted to wake up to over here on a Monday, but it is what it is, right? So also breaking down on render, strength will come back into the market above the yearly open, most specifically above $7. Get above $7 and the structure begins to change. Next major support is probably coming in. I'd be looking down to about $4.85. Can the devs do something, says Robert. Yes, exactly. Can the devs do something? Where's that comment gone? There we go. Exactly. Somebody call the devs, please. Somebody call the devs. Okay, let's look at AIXBT. How's that doing? AIXBT, USDT. Let's see. Do I not have this AIXBT? I'm sure that I had this already charted, but let's just click on this one over here. Now it's gone. AIXBT. There we go. Perfect. All right. Smashed. Okay. Absolutely hammered. Look, this one's major support is going to be coming in down here towards the bottom of the low. But at the end of the day, you definitely don't want to see this break below 43 cents, right? You already had major support above hand and it lost that level. That was your yearly open. That was a key level, important zone that you wanted to see holding as support. Remember, guys, if you do want help, it's not just me in Whale Room. You guys can get assistance from the rest of our traders. There is a section over here that's called Ask the Team. So if you go through over here, Ask the Team, click over there. If you're in Whale Room, you can ask us your specific question, right? We're here to help you. So jump into Whale Room. I think this is the strongest community in the world and probably one of the best Discords in the world. So you can see I'm going to answer all these questions, guys. I see you guys are all tagging me. I'll answer all of these questions for you as soon as I get off of this stream. Okay, how's this chart doing? Let's just, how's Trump doing as well? How's Trump? So Trump down to $5 billion market cap now. Okay, right into major support. So this is usually how these coins play out. You know, big pump and then it dumps about 80%. How far is this done already? 66%. 80% takes you on Trump down to about $12.89. So expect a probable slow bleed, and they haven't even unlocked tokens yet. Not really good, right? Not good for the space. Melania as well. Melania is going to be even worse, right? Yeah, you know, crypto bros, right? It's not really an industry dominated by women. So Melania is getting absolutely smashed, and she has already played out the 83%. So probably 99 for Melania. Okay, let's see, guys. Let me know in the comments what else. Cardano link, we can have a look at those. Let's go to Cardano. How's Cardano doing? Cardano is considered to be one of the USA coins, right? ADA USDT. Let's pull that up. All right. So approaching the yearly open. This is a pretty key range level. What I would be looking for on Cardano is probably a sweep, right? So here's your obvious range level. There we go. I'd probably be looking for a sweep down into about 82 cents. And same as the rest, right? If you see the sweep into 82 cents, reclaim the yearly open. Bitcoin, keyword, Bitcoin reclaims $100,000. That's your deviation. And then you can actually start to look to trade this back towards the range high, which is going to be about $1.22. So a lot of the coins coming into major range lows. Remember, unfortunately, if you gain acceptance underneath that level, what is acceptance? It means multiple candles underneath the range low. Then this starts to look like major distribution. And then you're probably going to revisit all the way back down here. One step at a time, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. Not that I'm long on this, but for those of you that are long on this, this is your base case, sweep 822, right? That's the level you want to sweep and then reclaim back above. AVAX, I see there's some questions around AVAX. Let's go have a look at AVAX. AVAX is a layer 1, but also known as a gaming platform. And this is going to be the level to reclaim, right? So you're also currently coming directly into a super, super key area. If you look towards the left-hand side, look at the significance of this zone, right? Support, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, support. So if you can start to see AVAX do the same thing as what I just mentioned with Cardano, which is sweep this level, reclaim the yearly open, Bitcoin gets above where? $100,000. That's a potential trade opportunity that you're looking at. Then you can say that, maybe that was the final flush. Maybe the low is actually in. Speaking of AVAX, I also want to make mention of 𝗲𝗏𝗡𝗏, whose 𝗲𝗏𝗏 token is actually launching today. Remember, 𝗲𝗏𝗏 is built on AVAX, right? So the coin is going to launch on AVAX today. What a day to launch into the market. The good news is that there isn't any sort of major unlocks or anything, so the token shouldn't have immediate sell pressure as soon as it launches into this type of market. If you are interested in purchasing this token, remember, it's going to be launched over here, gate.io, Mexi, bitmart.com, and then, of course, you can get it via AVAX on Uniswap, right? So remember, just a reminder, 𝗲𝗏𝗡𝗏 gaming platform over here, also dabbling a little bit into AI, and you can currently win 100,000 USDT in their trading tournament. So go through, use the link in the description below, it'll take you there, read up about it. If you do want to win $100,000, the previous prize pool was $15,000 for the crypto banter community, specific to you guys. Now they've upped the stakes, 100,000 USDT tournament, right? All right, cool. Let's continue. How's Bitcoin doing? Let's just double check on this. So at that level, okay, we've hit the 50, right? We've hit the 50 EMA on the daily time frame. Here's your 4-hour time frame. Very, very critical that you want to start to see price reclaim. So low time frame, again, this is your low time frame analysis. You're looking for something like this, right? If you see something like that, bullish, 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 that's going to be looking good. This is where you'd be wanting to fill your limit orders. You would have to have a manual stop, right? So if you continue to hold underneath this level, exit the position. But this is theoretically where you would start to look to enter into this trade for short-term trade, not a long-term trade. If you can put in a higher low on the daily time frame and you don't set in a lower high following this high low, which is coming in right over here. So ultimately put in the low, push up, and not reject from this level. Then you can say major low, high low, trend continuation, and the breakout of the trading range, right? Unfortunately, you can only confirm the breakout when you get above that $105,000, $106,000 level and close multiple candles over there. Let me know in the comments, guys, what else you want to have a look at as well. Let me know what your thoughts are on the market. Do you agree or disagree? If you disagree with my analysis, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'd love to know why and what you're seeing in the market. Remember, no one is perfect when it comes to trading. It's all about weighing up the pros and the cons, the probabilities, right? And then you want to decide where the probabilities are the highest. You buy support and sell resistance. This is a high volume area of support. Back testing into the trend line. We have moving average support over here. There's a lot of support, a lot of reasons. We have printed our first high, but we're still theoretically range bound. So it's not a high confident high over here. It is, just potentially it could be a fake out scenario over here where you come back down, you're just chopping in the range. So let's see. The next couple of days will be very, very, very important. Okay, we have Link as well. I have done AI16Z for those of you in the comments over there. Okay, Hype. Yes, let's have a look at Hype as well. Hype is one that I'm currently in a position on. Look, I said, ultimately, you want to see closing candles above $25. We had one candle that in intraday it was trading above. This candle over here last week, Wednesday, traded all the way up to about $27. But until such time as you get the confirmation of the closing candle, it needs to close above this level. If you close above this level, that's bullish, right? Trend continuation. Until that happens, it's not trend continuation. So what I'm going to be doing with my position is I've stopped out of my SUI trade as soon as it took out and created a new swing low. That's an in-profit trade where I went long originally on SUI all the way back from this lower level over here following the final shakeout. So it was under $1. We got long on this candle over here at about 62 cents. I might be rotating this profit into Hype, but only if I see some signs of strength. Because Hype doesn't have enough price history, it's on a daily time frame, we have to look on the lower time frames, right? And when we look on the lower time frames, all that we can focus on is the key area of support or the trading range. So if we trade into this lower region over here, which we've got very, very close to, around $19, I may be inclined to add a little bit more to give it a bit more time and opportunity to play out the trading range. So I'm looking for something like that. And then ultimately, if I can get above the zone, multiple candle closes above $25 on a daily time frame, that's your confirmation of the breakout. And then you look for high prices. What do we look for confluence and confirmation that this is happening? Of course, remember, guys, Bitcoin must close above 100,000. So if Bitcoin closes above $100,000 and we get back above, whilst I've seen this, great. That's the opportunity. Then that's where I start to look for the trade, right? That is on hype. All right. Again, if you want to learn more, everything is in Whale School. It's free to join Whale School. Whale Room is the private Discord. So if you want to take your trading to the next level, remember, use the link below, right? Go through to Whale Room, use that link below. That is where we have trade signals, trading strategies, and a lot of education. It's not just me in there, by the way. We have rock solid traders, right? We have rock solid traders. We have Chris, Josh, and Farouk who's scalping, and these guys are absolutely milking it. Well done. Well done to Neil SG, 201% profit over there on a short trade, 84% profit, 198% profit. So looking really, really good. Some good trades over there in the group. Okay, continuing, 𝗓. Yes, let's have a look at 𝗓. I haven't seen 𝗓 for a while. 𝗓 is, approaching all the way back down to the bottom of the trading range. So unfortunately, as soon as this broke structure over here, boom, as soon as you lost that, broke below the yearly open, you need to start to target back down towards the bottom of the trading range, which we're getting close to. This would be the level, right? That's the level of interest. So say you're looking for major support to be found into the zone. That is going to be about, there's a common theme over here, around 20%. A lot of the altcoins could drop another 20%. I know it's hard to hear. I know it's brutal for people that are heavily invested in the market, but that's about 23 cents, 24 cents, just under 24 cents. Okay. What else? What else, guys? Let me know. Let me know what else. Let's see. Okay, Link. Sorry, guys. I know you've asked for Link. Let's go to Link. Link USDT. How's this one doing? Link is also going to be one of those American coins. So they might have zero tax, remember, on the coins from the USA. Okay, let's just go to this one. Have we got all of our trade history over here? Okay, yearly open. Okay, I think Link could very easily go back down to the yearly open. It's probably also important to have a look at what Ethereum is doing to get a bit of an idea of what the rest of the market in terms of the altcoins are going to do. But for Chainlink, that would be my take. Look for a move possibly all the way back down to about $19.90, which is going to be your yearly open. And as long as it holds that, I think that Link will do okay. So just going back to ETH, right? We haven't shown ETH yet, but let's go to it. Remember, there is still the presence. So ETH, USDT. Where are all these charts gone? Maybe it's on this one. Okay, there we go. ETH USDT. Let's move on to the daily time frame. Still has the presence of the inverse head and shoulders, right? So this is a bullish chart pattern. Chart patterns are not that reliable. Just remember that, but they still have some merit, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, key point. Where are you coming into right now? The white line. What is the white line? The white line is the mid-range. So if you zoom in, that is significant, right? And that has officially filled the 50% level. So I've marked out the 50% level already. If you look at this over here, let's just move that around. There you go, 50% level of that wick. You've tagged directly into the 50% level and you're bouncing. So going on a lower time frame, look at that. Beautiful. Maybe that's the low for ETH, right? It could be. How do you know? If Bitcoin reclaims $100,000, chances are that the low's in for Bitcoin in the short term, maybe the medium term, and that would mean the same thing for ETH, right? All of this is, again, taught, guys, in Whale School. So let's leave it at that. That's it from me, folks. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I will catch you on the next one. Only time will tell, and we'll see. We'll reevaluate later today if we have reclaimed $100,000 or not. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, and cheers for now.